What if you, a perfectly average 21st century youngster, were to suddenly find yourself catapulted 1,000 years into the future? And no, we're not talking about a future where your mom has finally stopped asking you to clean your room. Imagine, if you will, young Nolan. He's a simple, Fortnite-playing, TikTok-dancing, broccoli-hating teen who has an odd, very specific daydream: jump roping through the time-space continuum to the future. One day, while cleaning his room, yes, under extreme maternal duress, he stumbles upon a shiny, suspiciously time machine-looking object, and whoosh off he goes 1,000 years ahead. Upon arrival, Nolan finds himself in an entirely new level of discomfort, and we're not talking about the kind you get from watching your dad attempt to floss dance at family gatherings. No, Nolan's discomfort comes from something far more alien, like suddenly sprouting a third arm, or realizing he's the only one without a hoverboard. The 31st century is a symphony of neon colors so bright, they'd make a 1980s disco ball look like a decrepit old mushroom. Buildings tower, not just into the sky, but into space. Cats are walking their humans, and everyone seems to be communicating through interpretative dance. Narrator. Next, our young hero attempts conversation, only to find that language in the future makes his high school Spanish class look like a walk in the park. Words are obsolete, replaced by intricate patterns of blinking eyelids and jazz hands. He desperately tries to ask for directions to the nearest bathroom, but instead accidentally proposes marriage to a neon zeppelin. Nolan, on screen. Excuse me, where's the bathroom? And let's not forget about food. Nolan, a self-proclaimed pizza aficionado, is horrified to discover that pizza in the future doesn't come in slices or boxes, but rather in popsicle form. Yes, tomato sauce and gooey cheese frozen onto a stick. Suddenly, broccoli doesn't seem so bad. We can't ignore future education. Quantum physics is the favorite subject here, and kids play with Schrodinger's cats instead of footballs. Nolan, who once struggled with algebra, is now expected to navigate the tricky waters of quantum entanglement and multiverses. He makes a mental note to appreciate his seemingly boring high school curriculum more when he gets back. Finally, we reach the peak of absurdity. Doing taxes in the future. Taxes are now paid in time credits, but the tax forms have only gotten more complicated. They're not just 3D, they're 4D. Holographic paperwork that expands and contracts at whim, changing forms faster than a chameleon in a paint factory. With his stomach churning from the pizza popsicle experience, Nolan's attention shifts to the future's fashion trends. He finds himself in a world where clothes are no longer fabric, but entirely made of holographic images. Everyone around him is wearing different colors of light, changing patterns and designs with a mere thought. It's like living in a permanent disco party, and it's giving Nolan a bit of a headache. He's handed a pair of what look like sunglasses, but when he puts them on, he's suddenly clothed in a neon toga. It's a far cry from his usual t-shirt and jeans, but at least he fits in now. Next, he finds himself in some sort of cinema, but not like any he's ever seen before. It's a massive dome, the walls alive with moving images. No flat screens here. The movie literally unfolds around you. Holographic actors walk past you, converse with each other, and perform stunts right before your eyes. You're not watching the movie, you're in the movie. Nolan finds himself in the middle of a high-speed car chase, ducking and diving, getting an adrenaline rush like no other. It's the most immersive entertainment experience he's ever had. With a quick detour, Nolan stumbles into a futuristic hospital. The sight of needles and surgical tools are replaced with holographic diagrams and small robotic arms. Patients are diagnosed through a full-body scan that reveals any ailments within seconds. Treatments are administered not through pills or injections, but through nanobots that repair the body from the inside. Nolan watches in awe as a man with a broken leg walks out of the hospital, completely healed, just half an hour after being admitted. It's a stark contrast to the long recovery times and invasive procedures back in his time. Eager to catch his breath, Nolan heads to a local park. But instead of trees and flowers, he's greeted by a landscape of synthetic plants. They're metallic and full of LED lights, and they sway with a mechanical grace. These artificial trees purify the air more efficiently and their leaves can change colors. But Nolan can't help but miss the smell of real grass and the rustling sound of leaves in the wind. Finally, Nolan explores the future's transportation. Cars no longer run on roads, but hover in the air. Traffic jams are a thing of the past, with everyone zipping around the three-dimensional air lanes. For longer distances, people step into booths and teleport to their destination. Nolan tries it out and finds himself suddenly standing in front of the neon zeppelin he had accidentally proposed to earlier. He stammers an apology and quickly teleports back, deciding to stick with the flying cars for now. Despite all the differences, Nolan finds an odd comfort in some things that haven't changed. Kids still laugh and play, music still moves people, and the sunsets, even in this futuristic city, are still breathtakingly beautiful. Nolan realizes that no matter how much technology advances, there are some things that will remain timeless. These misadventures make Nolan appreciate his own time more, but he also looks forward to the wonders the future will bring. After all, who wouldn't want to experience a holographic movie or to zip around in a flying car? As he prepares to travel back to his time, he makes another mental note. This time, to brace himself for a future that's not as far off as it seems. Leaving the hospital behind, Nolan finds himself drawn by a tantalizing aroma to what appears to be a food market. But this is no ordinary farmer's market. The stalls are laden with a bewildering array of foods, each more unusual and exotic than the last. There are fruits that change color and flavor with every bite, vegetables that cook themselves when you tell them how you want them done, and pastries that float in midair, waiting to be caught and devoured. Nolan is handed a strangely shaped object that looks more like a piece of modern art than anything edible. But the seller, a woman with shimmering holographic hair, assures him it's a sandwich. As he bites into it, the flavors explode in his mouth. It's the most delicious thing he's ever tasted. The sandwich not only hits all the right notes of sweet, sour, salty, and bitter, but also has a distinct savory taste, which he later learns is called umami, a taste sensation discovered only in the future. Next, Nolan is offered a beverage. It appears ordinary enough, but when he takes a sip, he's astounded. The drink is not only deliciously refreshing, but also seems to change temperature based on his preference. He thinks of a cold drink, and it cools down instantly. When he imagines it hot, it warms up just as quickly. Nolan marvels at the ingenuity of future food technology, which has clearly evolved to a level far beyond his comprehension. After filling his belly, Nolan is taken to a massive sporting arena. He's told it's the venue for the most popular sport in the future, hoverboard racing. He watches in awe as the competitors, each standing on a sleek, glowing hoverboard, zoom around a track suspended in midair, performing death-defying stunts and reaching incredible speeds. It's a spectacular visual feast, the bright neon trails of the hoverboards painting the sky with a dazzling array of colors. Not one to shy away from a challenge, Nolan decides to give it a try himself. Despite a few tumbles, he quickly gets the hang of it and is soon zipping around the track with the best of them, the wind in his hair and adrenaline pumping through his veins. It's a thrilling experience, unlike anything he's ever experienced back in his time.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin.
The day is not over yet. Nolan's next stop is a crowded city park, where he's introduced to the ubiquitous presence of AI in the future. Here he meets a friendly AI named Max, who takes the form of a holographic dog. Max is incredibly lifelike. He runs, plays fetch, and even barks just like a real dog. The only thing that gives him away is his translucent, slightly glowing form. Nolan is amazed at how interactive and responsive Max is. He can understand and respond to complex commands, and even seems to exhibit emotions. Nolan spends the entire afternoon playing with Max, throwing frisbees for him to catch and laughing as Max chases his tail in circles. AI in the future, Nolan realizes, is not just about cold, impersonal machines, but also about creating companionship and enhancing day-to-day life. His encounter with Max makes Nolan reflect on how far technology has come and how much it has transformed society and human interactions. As the day comes to a close, he can't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the possibilities of what the future holds.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin.
After an unnerving day in the 31st century, Nolan realizes that understanding the future is like trying to herd cats in zero gravity. Exhausted and yearning for the comforting rhythm of his own time, he returns to his newfound time machine. However, upon arriving back in his own timeline, he finds that he's only been gone for a second. Convinced he had a hyper-real dream, he swears off late-night pizza and Fortnite binges. In the end, our young hero learns that while the future might be an exciting, neon-laden, pizza popsicle-filled wonderland, there's nothing quite like the comforting blandness of the present. After all, who needs quantum physics and time taxes when you've got TikTok, right? Folks, if you've enjoyed this mind-bending trip to the future and back, then you're as twisted as we are, and we'd love to have you on the FlakLab team. So, hit that subscribe button and come along for our next paradox-packed, absurdity-filled adventure.